As the world shelters in place, a local nonprofit sheds new light on the need for affordable homes for essential workers.
These individuals are valuable, hard-working Americans.
A former UGA star who once struggled to read is making sure kids have access to books during the pandemic. And young musicians get a hand finding harmony in the midst of a crisis.
Channel 2's People to People, community coverage you can count on.
Hello, I'm Fred Blankenship. More than 38 million people have filed for unemployment during this pandemic. And Habitat for Humanity says the need for affordable and safe housing is now more apparent than ever. Habitat for Humanity is known for creating a pipeline to home ownership.
Affordable housing in the metro Atlanta area has been a challenge for quite some time.
Southern Crescent Habitat builds houses in South Metro Atlanta, but right now, many of its build sites are suspended and move-in dates are being pushed back.
Supposed to been done April the 1st in the midst of all this coronavirus stuff. So we just put everything on a standstill, just waiting patiently.
In the Habitat model, homeowners help build alongside volunteers. Each house comes with a zero-interest loan, thanks to lots of sweat equity.
Slowed down greatly because usually we would work every week, every Tuesday and Thursday. And I guess in the last 2 months, maybe I've worked a total of 3 times.
Many of the homes Southern Crescent has built belong to essential workers, homeowners like Stephanie, a MARTA employee and a mom of 3.
The program is just a blessing. My kids will be thankful to have their own room, have their own space.
Southern Crescent just launched the Our Families Are Essential campaign to remind people of our neighbors on the front lines.
Bringing awareness to the fact that these are the people who we are serving and they are right now serving you was so important to us.
They're quarantined, so that home, that space that you have is so important. Me and my daughters, we enjoy every piece of our home, and I'm so thankful to Habitat.
Kenya Bowie moved into her Habitat home with her daughters 8 years ago. She's happy to have something concrete to call her own during uncertain times.
When you have a home that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, you appreciate it so much more.
These individuals are valuable, hardworking Americans who just want the same things everybody else wants. We have a need right now that our communities come together and really work to help these families stay in the homes.
And our essential workers are valued more than you ever can realize. We posted a link to more information about Southern Crescent's efforts to help families get through these unprecedented times, along with ways that you can help as well. And go to WSB-TV.com/community and look for links mentioned on People to People. Well, some of your favorite local arts organizations are getting a big boost of support. The United Way and Community Foundation for Greater Atlanta is handing out more than $500,000 in grants to smaller arts groups, and Dad's Garage is one of those organizations getting funding. The Atlanta Theater has had to cancel more than 50 shows in response to the COVID-19 crisis.
That is thousands and thousands of unsold seats for us. Currently, we are forecasting a loss of $300,000 to $500,000 because we have been shut down.
Those are some big numbers there. Another group benefiting from the grants is the Horizon Theater Company, and we highlight their production of Madeline's Christmas, starring talented local girls every year. And while they've had to cancel or postpone several shows, they are working on virtual programs to keep the community engaged. And that's a great thing. Well, if your family is choosing to stay in, there are still dozens of places that you can visit. WSB-TV Community Affairs Director Candace Presley shows us how we can all explore Georgia from home.
So we start with the new Zoom backgrounds. That seems to be how all the grown-ups are working now from home.
I am currently in Minnehaha Falls up near Lake Raven. This is one of our new Zoom backgrounds that we created within the Explore Georgia from Home campaign to help travelers throughout the world experience Georgia when they're still at home. We have ones from St. Simon's Island down the coast in Savannah. We have backgrounds from Columbus, Georgia, featuring the beautiful riverfront park they have right in downtown.
So talk to me about, what does it mean to explore Georgia from home?
Travel is one of the first things people stop doing, but we know there's such an appetite for travel, and it brings people such joy and such inspiration. So we really found a unique way to talk to people who wanted to travel but couldn't, by sharing the beautiful destinations throughout the states. We have digital puzzles. Another great thing we have are coloring pages. So we took some of our most beautiful and inspirational spots throughout the state, like Driftwood Beach on Jekyll Island and Providence Canyon down south of Columbus, and we turned them into coloring pages.
I hear there may be some music playlists that also we might be able to take advantage of that are quite special.
Yes, absolutely. We have some great playlists on Spotify. So if you go to exploregeorgia.com/forhome, you can find all of these great tools, including the playlist. There's 3 of them. So one is all relaxation. One is a great one for working from home or being schooled from home. And another one is like an old school dance party. And all the music is from Georgia musicians.
Tell me more about the things that are available for children.
Another great thing we have is this really fun game called Spot the Difference, where we take different photographs from throughout the state, and then we remove elements from them. And so you have to figure out, it's like a little bit of Where's Waldo, like what's missing. And my new favorite thing that we're just launching this week are 360 videos. So you can actually go to Forsyth Park in Savannah and sit in front of that beautiful fountain. You can turn the video around and zoom in and out and really just have a moment there. You can go to Driftwood Beach and listen to the sound of the seagulls and the waves lapping. You can go up to a waterfall in North Georgia and watch that water tumble down that beautiful mountain. So those are wonderful ways for those kids to learn a little bit, but also be engaged and have some fun.
So cool. The Explore Georgia website also has a long list of virtual visits and attractions in the state, plus an extensive catalog of Georgia-filmed movies and TV shows to add to your already long watch list. And all of this milk and food would have gone to waste. Now it is going to feed families. Our cameras were there as hundreds of food boxes arrived at the Atlanta Community Food Bank in East Point, and one mom told us the meals are a huge help during these very tough times.
One son, a little boy, and 2 is for my sister. Oh, it's good health for my family.
And the Farmers to Families food program connects low-income families with producers having a tough time getting their food to restaurants and to schools. And this cuts through some of those supply chain issues, and the federal government pays the farmers for their food. And the food bank says it is a win-win. Well, social distancing may have put a halt on in-person music programs, put a stop to that, but 2 Georgia nonprofits are orchestrating creative solutions for young musicians.
The Georgia Music Foundation has been around since 1994.
Our goal is to support music education throughout the state, but also to help document the stories of our musical heritage.
Its grant program awards up to $5,000 to music programs. $500,000 has been given out since 2014.
Some of them go to programs at schools to either buy new instruments, repair old ones, for curriculum. We work a lot with after-school programs and definitely summer music camps.
The money comes from Georgia on My Mind, an annual all-star benefit concert held in Nashville, Tennessee, canceled by COVID-19.
I don't know what I was thinking, but I said, well, we could try this as an online concert and at least extend that sense of place and community through music.
Knowing this is a critical moment for music education.
It's been hard before, but after COVID, it's going to be harder than ever for schools to be able to financially support music education programs.
In the Capitol View neighborhood, Atlanta Music Project offers tuition-free music education to students K through 12.
We still have students that are working on applying to college to study music. We still have students who need a place to go after school. You know, like the world will keep moving forward and they can't stop practicing or becoming better at music.
They're offering free music classes, panels on other helpful tools online to keep kids engaged.
The weight of how you prepare for the audition is so critical.
This virtual symposium, The College Years, helps students interested in studying music navigate the school selection, application, and enrollment process.
You can actually major or minor in music, right, and use that talent you have, that skill set, as scholarship money.
Two groups doing what they can to keep the music flowing during the COVID-19 crisis.
It's just fun. It makes you feel good. It gives you something very real to hold on to. So music is something really special in our lives in times like this that are so uncertain.
Dave Huddleston for People to People.
Yes, music is so powerful. And we found a 9-year-old girl in Gwinnett County helping her neighbors get through these tough times with some free tunes. Isn't that beautiful? And she was playing everything out there. Peyton Rodney, she got a standing ovation. Yes, she did. The gifted piano player and drummer performed a driveway concert for her neighbors in Tequila, and nearly 4 dozen people that came out to hear everything from Beethoven, yes, to the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Peyton started playing the drums when she was only 4 years old. She sounds great. A former NFL player who struggled with reading is helping kids tackle the task and cheering them on through a difficult time.
And when I began to read, the world opened up.
The Atlanta Botanical Garden is welcoming back visitors. The measures in place to keep you safe while enjoying the fresh air, and these vibrant views. Well, so many of us are ready for sports to start back up again. Professional football training camps will soon open in 32 cities across the country. And while players work to improve their technique and strength, former NFL and UGA star Malcolm Mitchell reminds us of another muscle that needs to be flexed.
The most efficient way to exercise the brain is to read.
When Malcolm Mitchell retired from the NFL in 2019, he shifted his focus to a different chapter in his life.
He asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Since graduating UGA in 2016, he's talked openly about his very personal struggle with illiteracy.
You know, growing up, I wasn't an avid reader. I excelled in sports, but being a good athlete isn't being the best person you can possibly be.
Now a published children's author, he's gone on to create the Share the Magic Foundation, a nonprofit focused on growing young readers, especially in underserved communities.
And when I began to read, the world opened up. It helped me expand and be an overall better person.
This summer, the foundation's new Read Camp is looking to encourage students to tackle a good book.
We aligned it with sort of like a training camp that you would see for NFL football or college football. It was designed to beat the summer slide.
Share the Magic director Ann Sapp says, on average, students lose 30 to 40% of what they've learned over the summer. They say the COVID-19 crisis could make the summer slide even worse.
So it's really important this year, more than ever, that we continue to drive home the importance of literacy and also introduce books into those low-income communities.
I hope you're ready for our read challenges. And remember, I'll be your head coach, reading with you every step of the way.
Read Camp incentivizes students to keep reading with training, drills, and personal challenges.
The challenges are meant to bring this game-like feel that I felt while playing sports to reading.
Read Camp is 100% free. That's another important part of what we do, is trying to make resources available to all children in all communities.
Students can find a virtual playbook online, laying out their game plan for success.
When I say reading is essential, I mean that, because it's something that I've experienced. It's not a guess, it's not a hypothesis, but a true evaluation of my own life.
And it can change your life. We posted the link to sign up for Malcolm's Read Camp on our website. That's at WSB-TV.com/community. But Georgia's primary election is June 9th, and your ballot will include the presidential primary, congressional races, and one of Georgia's U.S. Senate seats. There's been a big push for absentee ballots, but if you plan to vote in person, here's what you can expect. You will stand 6 feet apart, use hand sanitizer when you check in, and in some counties, you'll use a stylus for the touchscreen instead of your finger. And remember, there's a link to double check your voting location and see a sample ballot at WSB-TV.com under links mentioned there. Well, the Atlanta Botanical Garden is one of the first public exhibits to reopen in Metro Atlanta. Experts have kept the flowers growing during stay-at-home orders. And now Linda Stouffer shows us the new guidelines in place to keep visitors' confidence growing too.
Since mid-March, this is how the Atlanta Botanical Gardens has sounded. Empty. Now, for the first time since the COVID-19 lockdown, the gardens are ready to go back on display.
For the last month, we have just spent time talking to people across the United States, talking to the health agencies, reading everything we can, and getting ready for the point where we could reopen it.
Mary Pat Matheson says being an outdoor destination helps. They're also adding new guidelines to keep visitors safe.
When you come and visit, you'll see these wonderful round signs on the ground that's like life blooms on, but give people 6 feet. So we're encouraging people to distance themselves.
Along with extra spacing and encouraging all guests to wear masks, they're cutting down on the number of people who can be on site.
And we're limiting visitors to 200 an hour, 50 per 15 minutes. And that way we can really space people out.
That's 20% of the garden's normal capacity.
So what we wanted to do is make up for the lack of crowds, because we're controlling crowds, by having longer hours. So we're open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Visitors stopping by will experience a whimsical new twist on an old tale.
And last year we did Alice in Wonderland and found it to be our most successful year ever. So we just thought it made sense to bring Alice in Wonderland back, but we needed to add some new features. And frankly, last year's Alice was not very exciting. She was a sleeping Alice. This time we have a huge Alice, and she's 16 feet tall. She circulates with her teacup.
She hopes the adventure with Alice will offer families a safe, wonder-filled distraction in the midst of the ongoing pandemic.
We all need a break. We've been in an incredibly stressful situation. So there's no better place to get rid of your stress and enjoy the beauty of our city than at the Atlanta Botanical Garden. Because I think strolling with a glass of wine in this garden is just one of the best things you can do in the city of Atlanta.
And a 16-foot Alice, you can't beat that. And while the main gardens are open, the children's garden, splash pad, and indoor spaces like the conservatory and gift shop will stay closed until mid-June. Well, it's natural to look at our past when searching for answers about our future. The Atlanta History Center shares some of the striking similarities with the Spanish flu.
The idea of community-led change is not new in 2020. It's something that was still happening in 1918 as well.
This pandemic is unlike anything that we've ever experienced before, but it's not exactly new. 100 years ago, masks, social distancing, and brave nurses were all topics making headlines in Georgia. Newspaper articles from 1918 tell the tale of Georgia in the midst of a pandemic.
When the disease first sprang up at Camp Gordon, a call was issued by the administration there for readers of the Constitution to make homemade masks and ship them to Camp Gordon.
Lois Carlisle's passion is connecting the past to the present and showcasing it on social media.
I had noticed an uptick in Google searches for 1918 influenza Atlanta, 1918 influenza Atlanta casualties.
After COVID-19 hit, Lois began digging into her employer's deep archives.
Photographs and films and oral histories
Enough files to stretch across 56 football fields, but not so much on the Spanish flu.
People, a lot of times, they want to forget something like that. And it was also on the heels of the First World War, and that had just been won, and there was a lot of reasons to sort of sweep it under the rug and move on.
The Atlanta Historical Society wasn't founded until 1926, but Lois was still able to discover some striking similarities through national archives and local articles.
Folks were encouraged to go outside. We're also encouraged, to get some fresh air, but more than the practices that we're doing now, folks were encouraged to sleep with their windows open.
Much like today, liquor sales were also on the rise, but for a different reason.
Lots of doctors were prescribing whiskey as a cure, and so a column came out in the Constitution to sort of dispel that.
Stay-at-home orders are nothing new either.
The Atlanta City Council issued a statement that businesses, schools, houses of worship were going to shut for 2 months.
2 weeks in, Lois says Atlanta's mayor ended the order.
As happened in other major cities who also cut short their preventative measures, a second, far deadlier wave swept through the city.
The Atlanta History Center is hoping to collect people's COVID-19 experiences today.
A lot of what we wish we had were, the records of ordinary people and how they went through the pandemic.
So that they are not lost to time, like so many of the stories from 1918 were.
What is old is new again. And right now, the Atlanta History Center is only accepting digital contributions to its Corona Collective. They'll be collecting physical objects like signs, crafts, and masks once the pandemic has passed. Well, it's your year, class of 2020. Even under these strange circumstances, we are all cheering you on and applauding all of your amazing accomplishments. Celebrate with us next. The coronavirus stopped us from celebrating our 2020 seniors in traditional fashion. But here on People to People, we are still celebrating you.
Good afternoon, fellow Raiders. My name is Ja'Quari Wiggles, and welcome to our virtual celebration.
Yeah, from virtual graduations to parades and lighting up local stadiums. We know it is not what you planned, but you are loved, you are celebrated, and we are all cheering you on. Go out there and get that life. Thank you for watching People to People community coverage you can always count on. You can always find more great stories by searching WSB Community right there on Facebook. Have an amazing day. Let's get it.